Is your time, and I do have Danny Gonzalez here with me from Move America Forward. Thank you for coming in. More reaction to the President's State of the Union address last night, things that were covered, things that weren't covered. You kind of deal with the military issue, things like that. He talked a little bit about Iraq, saying, you know, the war is ending there, troops are coming home with their heads held high. Now, of course, we're talking a lot more about Afghanistan, and he's saying what we need to do is keep the Taliban from getting another stranglehold there. What was your reaction to what he had to say about Afghanistan and the situation, saying, you know, that's going to come to an end too and start bringing troops back, I think, in July?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me start off by saying that we're really glad that President Obama did mention Iraq and the fact that our troops have won that war and that they're coming home with their heads held high. That was really good, and that got a really big applause from the, from the audience. But in terms of Afghanistan, the fact that President Obama mentioned a hard pullout date in July, we don't agree with that, because the fact that the current situation in there, we have a long way to go before the Afghanistan forces are going to be ready and prepared and well trained enough to take over security for themselves. And so giving a hard pullout date of July and saying that we're going to start drawing down our troops right then sends the wrong message to our enemies, the Taliban, because they know that all they have to do is wait out the winter, wait out the beginning of the spring and start of the summer, which usually in the winter they don't fight that much anyways. And then, you know, our forces are going to start going home. So that kind of tells them that, you know, you don't have to wait out too much longer because we're going to, you know, start leaving. And that's the wrong message to be sending to our enemies.
Okay. He also talked about the nuclear situation and the START treaty, talking about things going on in Iran. What was your reaction to that? Well,
our reaction to that was that, you know, the President was talking a big talk about Iran, saying that we're doing a great job of keeping their nuclear aspirations under control. And he said the same thing about North Korea. But in regards to the President's and the administration's performance over the last year with Iran, we'd have to say we're a little bit disappointed because currently the situation between Iraq and Iran is very dangerous. Some people are talking about possibility of another Iraq-Iran war, and we should be acting as an intermediary and trying to foster better diplomacy between those two countries. So we're a little bit disappointed in that. And also, Iran is continuing to support the Taliban in Afghanistan through the Revolutionary Guards, which is the elite Iranian military, are supporting certain Taliban commanders in Iran. I mean, in Afghanistan, and we're still finding the evidence of that, and we're still finding the weapons and the money that the Iranians are bringing into Afghanistan. We should be having a lot more diplomatic pressure on Iran to keep that in check and stop that immediately.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of the things that you thought he would, but there was also something that you mentioned to me earlier. You thought he'd talk about it, and he didn't.
Right, that would be Guantanamo Bay and the use of military tribunals versus civilian trials. Now, probably the reason he didn't talk about Guantanamo Bay was that at the beginning of his presidency 2 years ago, he made a pledge to you know, stop and close down Guantanamo Bay within a year. That year came and passed, and there was, you know, no progress on that. And now we have another year that's come and gone, and there's still no progress. And a lot of people believe that President Obama has basically given up on his plan to close Guantanamo Bay, and we hope he has, because we believe that Guantanamo Bay serves a good purpose for the United States. We don't have a good legal recourse of where to keep these terrorists that are too dangerous to be released, but we don't have enough information to try them in a civilian court. And so one of the things that the administration is doing, where they halted the use of military tribunals in Guantanamo Bay last year, and we recently heard that they're going to be bringing those back because of the fact that we can't try these people here in the United States. And I'm glad that Obama and his administration seems to be seeing the light on that, and that they're going to be using Guantanamo Bay and going to be using the military tribunals. And it's no surprise that he didn't bring that up, because that's something that his base is you know, really angry about, and they want him to bring those terrorists back to the United States to be tried. But unfortunately, that causes too many legal problems with our legal system here, and so it's much better to use Guantanamo Bay, and we're glad that he's doing that.
All right. Well, Danny, with Move Forward America, we thank you so much for coming in and giving us your point of view after giving us the reaction of the State of the Union address last night. We thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, Paul.
Thank you, Alma. Bethany's checking